Night of Champions just wrapped up. We got a lot to talk about. This is your full review of the show. My name is Matt. Let's get right into it with the first match. King of the Ring finals between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. This crowd loved Randy Orton. Like, wow. Did they boo Cody? Or are they just kind of like, yeah, Cody Rhodes? But hey, this entrance for Randy Orton was the longest thing I've ever heard. This was a very slow, plodding match between Randy and Cody. We haven't seen these two going at it in a very, very long time. I was excited to see it, to see what they would do, what kind of story they would tell throughout this match. But to be honest, I mean, it was very standard wrestling match for these two. They try to tell a little bit of the story of Randy with the back. He did the superplex off the top rope and he was holding the back a little bit. You got Cody cutters, which is kind of what we expected to see. False finishes, near falls between both guys, a couple of RKOs as well. And really just everyone, they're hitting all of their favorite spots in this thing. So at one point, Randy was going to go for a punt kick, which I think was a nice spot. He delays because he's like, I don't want to do it. So he hesitates and then he ends up missing the punt kick. And then towards the end of the match, you did have Randy going to the outside to get a steel chair, which would disqualify him, but he's doing it to then distract the referee to then go and rip off the turnbuckle so he could throw Cody into the exposed turnbuckle. That goes sideways, and then Randy ends up eating the turnbuckle under his arm, like in his armpit area, just under here and I guess the ribs. But that is enough for Cody to then turn around and give him a crossroads. Cody wins King of the Ring. He doesn't put on the crown. He doesn't wear it. I was hoping he would do that. Plus he would take the Crown Jewel Championship and slap that on himself and just get a double whammy. But he didn't. But Cody goes on and he does a post-match speech of just like putting over all these characters. And he said the word characters a couple of times, which was weird. I thought that was an odd word to use, not superstars. He's challenging and working against all these different characters in WWE. So he puts over Randy Orton. He talks about Cena and Punk and that match that's going to be coming up and who he will be facing at SummerSlam. Match was good. Just nothing that was like, oh, wow, they did something crazy here. It's just two baby faces and it was a really solid match for the finals. Randy's got a history now of not winning King of the Ring. Maybe he will one day. But then I wonder what's going to happen next for Mr. Randy Orton. That'll be interesting. Gave Cody a bit of a look at the end of that match too. Like, just ooh, like, I don't like that you won. But comment below, guys. Let me know, what did you think of Cody winning King of the Ring? Is it the right move? Is it what you expected it to happen? Let me know. And if you can, hit the subscribe button because we're trying to get to 50,000 subs for SummerSlam and over like 60% of you watch the show, but don't hit subscribe. So it would mean a lot to support the channel. If you're anything like me, you like wearing clothes every day. Maybe you are much more of a classic tee type of person, or you want something like this. Oh, that's pretty good too. I'm excited to show this off because this is today's sponsor, Into the AM. I've worked with them for a long time and they are fantastic. The clothing is, well, I really do enjoy it. I think the quality is excellent. You have everything from graphic tees, you got hoodies, long sleeves, short sleeves, you got pants, you got shorts. They got an awesome creative design team that are putting all these elements together. Also, don't forget that we have the ongoing 4th of July sale. It's site-wide and people can get up to 60% off. So you can do something like as easy, look how good I look right now. Like I look decent to show my wife. Or I could be wearing something like this. See, that's pretty good too. Great design, super comfortable, great quality. It fits well. That's the main thing for me. And their website is super easy to use. Build out your shopping cart however you like, but a ton of options and great quality for you to select. Use my link Assemble in the description. It's in the pinned comment below. You'll get 10% off your order. So you can wear something like this. So check out intotheam.com, use my code ASSEMBLE, get your discount there. You're gonna be feeling all fresh and looking pretty good too. Thanks so much for watching. Now back to the video. Next match, Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight. For the first couple of minutes of this, I was like, this ain't no street fight. This is just match. But I thought it was very fun overall once they started to get into it. You got Rhea tied up into the ropes, so she's holding those things. And you got Raquel with a kendo stick just slapping her across everything. You got the spot on the outside where they set up the top of the announce table and they teeter it, and then Rhea ends up going through that, so that was cool. Then eventually Roxanne does interfere, which I think a lot of us expected to see of like, okay, how is Roxanne gonna get involved in this match? Well, I got news for you. It wasn't in a very big way. I was a little disappointed by this because Roxanne just came in and got just kerfuffled in a trash can like Oscar the Grouch and took one kick with the trash can on herself. And then that was the end of her. So she didn't do very much. Also, all three of them were dressed very much the same. Roxanne comes out, they're all standing side by side, and I'm like, I can't tell the difference between anybody. I'm just kidding. But it was just funny that they were all kind of dressed all like a variation of Catwoman. So at the very end, you did end up having Rhea hitting a riptide off of the table that was teetering on the top rope and takes Raquel off of that for a riptide, which is a nice clean finish. That worked really well. Rhea gets the big win, but nothing else Judgment Day related. I thought that they would do something. I know it's a Saudi show. Maybe they don't want to bring everybody over for this, but you did have Roxanne come out. I know that Rhea's going to get that big pop moment of winning everything, but I think for the story-wise, it would have been good, I think, if they had Roxanne and Raquel beat her down after. Show that they are more of a unit, a team, something like that. But maybe that will then help to set up things for Monday Night Raw, where they're like, hey, Roxanne tried to help, and Raquel's like, you didn't do enough. You were all locked up in a trash can. And she's like, what was I supposed to do? So it could be interesting to see what happens on Raw. Does this get us to, a future title match for Rhea Ripley? It remains to be seen. The match though was nothing like crazy. Again, it was nothing like it was spectacular where I was like, oh, this is next level. But you know what? I'll take a good street fight on any given day of the week. Okay, the match I was looking forward to see, one of the matches, but that I was hoping was going to deliver something big. But you guys tell me what you thought. Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn one-on-one. This has been building and looming for months, it feels like, of Karrion Kross getting match with Sami Zayn. Finally, they did it. I was so happy for Karrion Kross because I am a fan of his. I wanted to see him get a match. He's getting it on a PLE. Gets the big entrance for Kross with Scarlett. It looks great. It looked like $1 million. They get in the ring with Sami Zayn, and it was just a very standard match. Not bad. Nothing bad with it. German suplexes, Kross getting his stuff in there with a bunch of suplexes, a bunch of strikes, trying to choke out Sami in different parts. Sami Zayn coming back. Good back and forth. But it all ended with a haluva kick. That Kross was like chirping Sami in the corner, and then eventually tries to go and hit him with another strike, and Sami hits him with a haluva kick. 1, 2, 3. That was it. I think what was missing for me in this match was more of Sami having to, wrestle with the mind games of Karrion Kross. Like, hit him with a chair. Will he or won't he? Very much like Bray Wyatt, John Cena, where it was at WrestleMania, where it was all about Bray trying to push Cena to the dark side, and then they didn't do any of that. Kind of like that, where you were building this thing of Sami crossing a certain line and not doing it remotely. It's in Saudi Arabia, so I get it. Sami's the beloved babyface, but it would have been interesting that even in the match, if they played with that a little bit more, of Sami wrestling with trying to do something dastardly, Kross egging him on, because that was the whole thing, was Kross egging him on to do more. Like, come on, we got him. Like, he punched me in the face. Now it's going to finally boil where Sami's going to go and be way more aggressive. Didn't see any of that, and that's what I felt like was missing. If they added more of that aggression from Sami onto Kross, like he's playing into it, maybe even if they had a different type of finish. Because one haluva kick put down Kross, that was the end of it. Maybe it would have worked better if it was a couple of haluva kicks, or Sami did all of that and did post-match beatdown, something. The crowd's still going to cheer for Sami. So I just feel like you could have done a little bit more, because then even Kross could come out of it saying, haha, you went and you stepped over the line. You went way too aggressive with it. Something like that. Maybe to then carry on the story. So with carrying on, so to speak, what do you do with Karrion Kross now? He lost clean to Sami Zayn, which is what I figured they were going to do. Sami would win, and it's all good. But where do you go from here with Karrion Kross? No opponents set up in the future. Is he done with Sami Zayn? Is he going to just move on to mess with somebody else? I thought Kross and Sami did have a very good match. It was very solid. I wish there was just more storytelling in there to raise the bar a little bit. But I'm glad that Kross got on a PLE, and I hope it means that they're going to do more with him, and that they will give him another opportunity or do more on Raw. Get into a proper feud with somebody, and maybe that's part of it. Not having a proper feud that is, really built week to week with matches on TV. This has just been all with little backstage segments, so kudos to them. Let me know what you guys thought of this match too. And then next you had Jacob Fatu, US champion, going up against Solo Sikoa one-on-one, finally for the United States Championship. And we got a new United States champion in Solo Sikoa. One of my predictions came right. I was very, very tickled by this, just saying. But I predicted that Solo, I was like, I'll give it to Solo. He'll get a bunch of interference from his guys, and that will be the end of it. And that is exactly what went down, and I'm glad it did. Not because I'm against Jacob. I love Jacob Fatu, but I think it makes for a much more interesting story that we have it go down this way. So the match itself really wasn't much. I really feel like it wasn't much. I was watching this thing, I'm like, yeah, a couple of suplexes and some strikes. It wasn't this crazy story. A lot of Solo just trying to do the Jacob moves in there. That's what I noticed. But fine match in general, just waiting for the moment. It's like it's just a bloodline match, man. it's always just wait for the big run-in moment and the guy in the hoodie, and we got just that. So first JC Mateo comes out, right? And then he tries to get involved. But then you get the return of Tonga Loa. So he returns. That was great. But again, they go with the WWE trope of the hoodie man. Everything's a hoodie. It's like Triple H has just got like a wardrobe full of these backstage. Where it's just like, here's 15 of the black hoodies. We're going to run out there. Everyone make sure you put on your hoodie. Find a new outfit, I say. Just messing with you. But you know what? I love that Tonga Loa came out. He got involved in all of this. Fatu tries to fight back. And then we finally got the big reveal, the big debut on the main roster. Hikuleo is out there. They didn't call him by name on commentary as far as I know. They did not. He is a large man. Like, Fatu is a big boy. Hikuleo's tall, man. He a big man. So Hikuleo comes out, gives him the choke slam onto the table. Spike by Solo. Solo wins. He gets the United States Championship. He stands tall. Tama Tonga should have been out there. Where was he? Is he still injured or something? Would have rounded things out a little bit better. But you've got Solo Sikoa with a refreshed Bloodline crew, whatever they're going to end up calling this. I don't even call it a Bloodline. But he's got a nice new faction, fresh faction. Hikuleo coming out there, I think is great to be that big heavy enforcer. He's gigantic. He's the Kevin Nash now, Diesel. But you got that added bonus of him in there. Really helps Solo, I feel, because it's a new version of him. It's not about being head of the table, having the Ulafala, any of that stuff. Now it's just about being champion, dominant on his own, and Jacob Fatu officially, finally being on his own. This, I feel, will lead to something really fun at SummerSlam, where you're probably going to end up with Jacob versus Solo Part 2, with the US title involved, and you got the rest of the bloodline, or Solo's bloodline, now all in the mix. Jimmy Uso is also out there. Could we see a reunion of Jimmy and Jacob? They've been teasing that on SmackDown. I think they'll team up. What if they did bring over Jay? I don't know what Jay's going to be doing for the near future, but bring him to tag again with Jimmy so you reunite the Usos and Jacob in there, and you got those three going up against Solo's crew. That could be a lot of fun and a lot of star power. So glad they went in this direction. Like the ending of it. Hikuleo debuts, so I'm intrigued of what they're going to do next. And we got the Women's Queen of the Ring match, Jade versus Asuka. Now, this match I thought was pretty good overall. Honestly, I had no big complaints. There's nothing that was really big that even happened here. I thought it was just a very standard, good back and forth match. I mean, what did you guys think of Queen of the Ring? It didn't really blow me away. I just thought that both of them did very well. Didn't tell anything crazy compelling, kind of like a few of the matches on the card where it wasn't just blowing me away. But at the end of it, Asuka tries to go for her finishing move, and then Jade reverses it into a Jaded. Jade wins. She wins Queen of the Ring, and that's all she wrote. So it does seem like we are going to be getting Jade versus Tiffany as the women's WWE Championship match at SummerSlam. Now with that, it gets, I think, very interesting because you end up having Jade and Naomi and that dynamic going into that. I wonder if they would pull the trigger on Jade winning the championship with a Naomi cash-in. They teased it on SmackDown with the last woman standing match, and they didn't do it, where Naomi was going to cash in, but they didn't pull the trigger on that. I thought that was an interesting move because I kind of thought they maybe would have Naomi win the belt before SummerSlam to set up that match, but it very well could end up being SummerSlam where Naomi does cash in, Jade could win the belt and only hold it for a few seconds, and that's all she wrote. Main event time, ladies and gentlemen. We've got John Cena versus CM Punk for the WWE Undisputed Championship. And oh boy, a lot happened here that turned it from something I was very excited for to something I think they really made it interesting coming out of this. I think this was really well done. What did you think of the main event? Not to go beat for beat or anything, but a couple of things to note. So number one, CM Punk coming out, it looked like he was in his Money in the Bank 2011 gear or inspired by it. That's what it kind of reminded me as, other than like he had the big Punk jacket on, and crowd cheering for both guys, cheering for Cena, cheering for Punk. I love the back and forth. These guys have great chemistry in the ring. That's what I really enjoyed throughout the whole like first chunk of the match, was just how well it was wrestled, delivered, the near falls. At a later point, you had Punk doing an elbow drop onto Cena, then becomes an AA with a near fall. At one point, I liked that Cena went and grabbed the title belt, and then he threw it down because he couldn't bring himself to hit CM Punk with it. GTS by Punk, Cena kicks out. With the title belt and Cena not doing it, this is where it's interesting for Cena's character, and I like that they did this because it tells us that, okay, Cena's starting to get reluctant of trying to use the title belt to cheat to win every single time. He doesn't want to do it that way. And we saw a little bit more of that as this match kind of went on, with Cena not wanting to do that. So then Cena hits the referee by accident. Punk hits Cena, takes him down, goes for the pin, there's no ref. Seth Rollins' music hits. So now we're like, okay, now we're actually gonna get a cash in for this thing, and then it all just goes crazy. So Punk gets put through the announce tables. You got Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker out there causing all this mayhem. In a cool moment, Seth is standing in the ring, and then he's calling, he's got the briefcase, he's alone, he's calling for the referee. Little Nate comes running down, and then John Cena hits him and knocks him to the ground. This moment where they did just that reminded me of Money in the Bank 2011, where you had Johnny Ace going down to try and like ring the bell and stop the match before Punk could win. And then you had John Cena slide out and knock him down. I felt like it was kind of that, and then Cena turning his attention to Seth, kind of like, we're not doing it this way, which is interesting because it's a cash in. So obviously Cena doesn't want to get cashed in on by Seth and make it a triple threat, but it's Cena. I think we're starting to slowly see this turn of Cena, or some kind of adjustment, attitude adjustment, if you will, of Cena's character, because he didn't hit him with the title, and then he didn't want the cash in to happen. So he wanted to kind of play it safe, or change how he was going to go about this match. He didn't want to do it this way. So then it starts to become like WrestleMania 40 ending, but a little lighter. But it was still that feel where they got everybody coming out. So Cena hits an AA to Seth, and then Reed starts attacking Cena. Penta's music hits, of all people, but he's had problems with Seth over the last couple of weeks, and then he takes out Braun Breaker. Sammy's music hits, and then he starts getting involved with everything, and then he does a big splash, takes out Penta, takes out Braun Breaker. Reed is in the ring. He tries to go for the tsunami. CM Punk pushes Reed out of the way. Then Cena does a really big AA to Bronson Reed. Like, he got that big boy up. He hit him. It was impressive. So after all of that and the mess clears, then you have Cena's cool moment of Cena and Punk standing in the ring together, and Punk goes out to shake his hand, and then they do it. They embrace, they hug, and then Cena has the look that he had at Elimination Chamber with Cody, where he turns evil. And then he goes to kick him in the low area, and then Punk blocks that, and then Seth gets involved, hits a stomp on Punk. Cena then slides back in, gets the pin, and beats CM Punk. Cena retains. Rollins has screwed Punk ultimately, and that's the end of Night of Champions. So we set up a couple of things here, it seems. The feud between Rollins and Punk, they might just be doing that match at SummerSlam. This would be, is this the third match then they would be doing? They had the one on Netflix. They had the steel cage match that ended with Roman. Now we're going to get we might be getting Rollins and Punk one-on-one. I also wouldn't be surprised if they set up a multi-man match where, like, where's Roman Reigns? I didn't see him tonight. Maybe he comes out at SummerSlam to confront Seth or to get involved with Cena. You never know. Probably Seth. They have a lot of other players involved too, which is kind of cool. So you have Punk, obviously. You have Sammy, Penta now. So there's 3 guys that could go up against Seth, his guys. So maybe that is going to be a future Raw match, or they're going to do something else in between Saturday night's main event. That was a tag team match last time, and they could run it back just as a 6-man tag. And then clearly we're going to get John Cena versus Cody Rhodes as the main event of SummerSlam, so we're going to rekindle that feud. But a lot of interesting pieces there in the main event scene. I really like the finish to this. What about you? Because I like that it was kind of like Mania 40 where everyone's coming out. I like all of that because they were able to circle it all back and kind of have it make sense towards the end. Like, everyone gets kind of canceled out, and you were left with Punk and Cena in the ring, and Cena still takes advantage of Punk by sliding in after the stomp to get him the pinfall win, and Cena moves on. But Cena didn't do any of the dastardly stuff. So that's the difference between what he's done with, like, Randy in the past and Cody and everything, where it's been all super heel. Punk, maybe it has kind of shifted him back. My only regret with this is that I wish it was at SummerSlam, because I really wish that Punk and Cena were able to redo a SummerSlam match. And they did like a lot of the beats I felt like from Money in the Bank, which is one of my favorite matches just in general to watch. I could put it on repeat because there's so much good there, and the atmosphere is so good. And the atmosphere here was great. And I thought both guys, they just did a tremendous job. Everyone hit everything, and there's a lot of intrigue going into Raw and SmackDown and really for SummerSlam. What did you think of Night of Champions? Did it work for you? Did you like everything? Did you not like everything? What area do you stand on all of it? If you guys can, help me out. Hit that subscribe button. Trying to get to that 50K subs like I mentioned. I appreciate you guys watching, hanging out. And if you want a little giggle, you want to have a little good time here, not too much of a good time, but click this video right here because we're doing a little sketch here for you. We're having some fun. Have a great day. See ya.